We are talking about the economy tonight on Open Line. We invite you to call in with your questions. Associate Professor Julio Rivas is my guest here tonight from the College of Business at Lipscomb. A great conversation already, Joe. We appreciate your phone calls tonight.
Thank you, yes.
I do want to talk about 2008 versus 2022 and what we're living through right now. Different crises, but the jitters may be the same, but in different ways.
Yes.
What are your observations?
I would say these two crises are different. You know, it's the main issue in 2008 was that we had the subprime crisis. I don't know if that rings a bell. I don't know if you remember that, but there were a lot of mortgages that were issued to people that were not able to pay. Right? I mean, it's from what I remember, you will get a mortgage even if you're not able to verify your income, right?
Yes, and everybody got a mortgage.
Everybody got 1, 2, 3, or as many, you know, and those subprime means that your credit score is not that good, right? So they will give you, regardless of that, they will give you a mortgage. They will give you a teaser rate at the beginning, but then as rates started to go up, as we're seeing right now, those houses become impossible. No, they were impossible to pay, right? And if you were paying, you know, let's say if the house that you bought was, let's say, $400,000 when you bought it, and then, you know, when housing prices went down, you know, if the house is now worth $200,000,
but you're still paying on $400,000.
Yes. So you don't want to pay a mortgage of $400,000 if your house is worth $200,000, right? So a lot of people walked out, and that created a big problem, right? That was a very strong liquidity crisis from the American financial system. So that was a big problem. That we were afraid that the American financial system will go bankrupt.
Yes, just collapse.
Yeah, just collapse, and that would have been catastrophic. I mean, if because, well, you know, I mean, it's important to have a healthy financial system. It's important for people to trust the financial system. There are countries in the world in which people don't trust their financial system. You know? I mean, it might sound crazy for some people, but they might rather have American dollars and lock, you know, have a safe in their home and just save in American dollars instead of saving in the bank or in stocks or any other assets.
That's their own security.
Yes, that gives them more safety. They trust the dollar more than their local currencies. Yeah. So back in 2008, you know, we had that issue, you know, and we had, you know, Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers and all of, you know, the credit default swaps. I was mentioning you earlier that I teach financial markets and institutions. Yes. And we were talking about that I gave them an assignment. Hey, let's do some research and let's talk about
this. Go back and look at this.
And tell me, like, how this affected the economic outcomes, right? So it was that, you know, the fear was to have a generalized bankruptcy in the American financial system. That would have been that. Now, I don't think that right now we're in that problem. You know, I think banks and other financial institutions learned their lesson. You know, lawmakers learned their lesson, and there are more ways in which we can control those type of issues. The issue right now was, I would say, probably, and I read this somewhere, it was, I would say, probably related to COVID.
How so?
I would say the crisis that we expected to have during COVID, it is happening right now, right? It is happening right now. I think the Fed, when it injected more money into the economy,
those stimulus checks.
That is the thing. Yes. And we were talking about gas and brakes, right?
So, they were pumping the gas there.
Yes, because there was a lot of uncertainty. They will not know. I mean, nobody knew what was going to happen, right? And in order to play it safe, in order to be safe, they say, okay, let's put more money into the economy, you know, so that people will be able to buy, you know, and as they buy, you know, grocery stores will have money, and the total, the economy will not collapse. So as it turns out, you know, I mean, it was probably bad, but not as bad as a lot of people thought it was going to be. But once you put a lot of money into the system, sooner or later that's gonna catch up with you, you know. And inflation is not something that happens right away, right? it takes some time for it to show up in the economy.
So it's a delayed reaction. Then sometimes when we start seeing the inflation happen, we forget why.
Yes, and it's I would say that's one of the main reasons. That's one of the main reasons. I'm pretty sure some people at the Fed thought that or knew that this was going to happen, but they were trying to figure out the trade-off, right?
Sure.
I mean, should we rather give people money right now and keep businesses open and then deal with that? Or should we let everything tank and then start from there?
And COVID for our generation, this is the first time we all lived through a pandemic.
Yes.
I mean, for the most part.
Yes.
And had to make decisions during a pandemic of how this was going to work for businesses and small businesses and all of these things.
Yeah, no, and it was very hard. I mean, there were businesses that did not open again.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot of businesses did not open again. And it was complicated, It was complicated, but again, it's I think we got over it. For some people, we're probably not over it, and heard, okay, COVID is no longer a pandemic; it's endemic, and it's part of our everyday life. Well, though that might be true for some people, that really killed their business or what they were going to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the supply chain issues, which still are not resolved, does have an impact on the economy.
Oh yes, of course. I mean, it's if you really. Here's the thing. Before COVID, everything worked very smoothly, right? Oh my goodness, it was
a well-oiled machine.
Oh yeah, no, perfectly oiled machine, and you will know that your pieces that come from, or China, and if they're from China and they need to go to Brazil through the Panama Canal, oh my goodness, yeah, everything worked out perfectly, right?
Right.
But then we had that disruption, right? And then factories were not able to produce as much, the big container ships were not able to deliver as quickly as they could. So that creates issues. We had the bottleneck, bunch of boats trying to deliver, and you have to wait, I don't know, days, weeks, or a long time for you to be able to deliver the goods that you have on board. Yeah,
and still just not resolved, which just has that bottleneck in the economy, and you think if we can't solve this issue in this much time, is that a weight on the economy as well?
Yes, of
we don't have that answer to get this rolling again.
Now, I know it's gotten better, right? It's not as bad as it was at the beginning of the year, and shipping prices. That's another indicator. Shipping prices were way up. Now they've been coming back down because of that, but still, I mean, it's as long as we rely on shipping, and bringing goods and service, well, goods, not services, but goods from overseas to here and from here to overseas, it's going to be complicated.
Let's switch topics a little bit. Let's talk about the job market, unemployment, which is really low, actually.
Yes.
However, we're talking about contradictory things. You see now hiring signs still everywhere.
Yes.
And then salaries have just not kept pace with inflation. So let's first talk about the job market, and that it looks pretty healthy right now.
Yeah, no, it is great. I mean, it's economists have this concept called full employment, which means that basically the ones that don't have a job are the ones that are switching jobs. Everyone that wants to have a job has a job.
Right?
And right now we are very close to that, right? Which in some terms, it might sound like a great thing, right? Hey, everyone has a job, and obviously, I mean, if you haven't had a job and you have a job now, well, that's definitely a great thing. But in macroeconomic terms, if we want to see the whole picture, the only way, well, this also implies that companies are growing, right?
Right.
And if you're growing, you need to hire more people. But if the people that you can hire already have a job, how do you attract them? How do you convince them to come and work for you?
You usually got to pay them more money.
Yeah, I mean, you can give them a speech, you can give whatever it is, but at the end, money talks, right?
Yes.
So you need to pay them more, So a lot of companies have hired people, well, they attract them with higher salaries, but that also means that they need to make more money because of that, right?
Yes, they got to cover their costs.
How can they cover their costs? Well, by charging more money. Now, that doesn't mean that if they charge more money, are they going to make more money?
They hope so.
They
No
hope
guarantee.
so.
Yeah.
But the people that stay in their jobs, their paychecks are not growing that much, right? I mean, it's I would say it's a part of containing inflation in a way, right? Because here's the thing: if we made more money, or if our salary went up the same rate as inflation, we would spend more money, right?
Oh, heck yes, I would.
Yes, I mean, and if we spend more money, we're pushing the demands of products, right?
Yeah.
And if we're pushing the demands, price will go up as well. You know, so as long as inflation is not fixed, we should expect to see something similar happening.
What is the breaking point? Is there a breaking point where it's just like we're in a crisis? I mean, I guess that would be recession, right?
Yes, and yeah, that's what we will see. The next months are going to be very interesting. It's economists love Black Friday, and not because of the sales, but Black Friday gives a lot of very good information with respect to consumer sentiment. Right? So don't forget, our economy is based. Consumption is a very important part of our economy, right? And if we measure GDP, a way to measure is consumption plus investment plus a lot of other things, right? But consumption is a very important part, and consumer sentiment tells you how people think that everything's going to go up in the future, right? In the near future, right? So if people are optimistic, they will buy more, washers, dryers, lot of those goods, like durable goods. You will see a lot of consumption in Black Friday. Whereas if people are not that enthusiastic, people are going to buy less. So that's a very good indicator, right? That's a very good thermometer on how our the consumers, the rest of us, think that the economy is going to move in the future. So yeah. Black Friday, pay attention to the prices, but also pay attention to consumer sentiment, right? 'Cause
how many people are lining up at those stores?
And that basically sets the pace for the holiday season, and if we know that there's a lot of consumption during holiday season, but also like how much? Yeah, I mean it's surely, and it's we have good consumption during the holidays. Well, is that good enough to continue
right?
producing?
Because some stores, that's what they depend on all year round.
Sure.
That's what makes or breaks them.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we're going to continue talking about that. It's really interesting. But let's take a quick break. When we come back, you're always welcome to join the conversation. 615-737+.